Tai Emery, it's been over a year since we've seen you in the ring, toe the line, everything else. How are the emotions as we're just under a month out from your fight?
I'm always super emotional. I think I'm constantly walking around with my heart on my sleeve. So the roller coaster of emotions is definitely began. I think we're stuck upside down at the moment, but it's. I think that's all a part of it, and I love feeling through my emotions. I love being knowing that I'm nervous. Even I think that I think if you're not nervous towards it, then do you really like care about it? Like obviously I get peaceful the closer it gets to it, and I feel completely calm when I'm walking to the ring. So when stuff's about to get real, I'm a very very calm and in tune and present person. But until then, I'm cutting down. We're doing a 120 pound catch weight. It needs to be 120 pound clean, which I think is for my kilogram people, 54.4 kilos. Um,
Thank you
so
for those of us in the United States. We suck at conversions. The public education system doesn't help us there.
that's even just a new challenge. I truly think I'm the 120 pound champ. If that was to ever become like its own division, I can definitely cut it with the 125 pound girls. I'm too big for the 115 girls, but the 120 pound, that's all I keep saying to myself is, I'm made for 120. So it just means being more professional, which is like obviously all of the training, not overtraining, and like eating correctly, getting small and powerful and fast.
Well, I think fans are going to look at everything because timeline, I believe it was late 21, maybe early 22. You obviously win your bare knuckle fight. The top comes off. Suddenly everybody knows who you are. It makes the rounds. You have a subsequent fight. Doesn't go your way. There was a lot going into that one. And then we haven't seen you for a minute. I know you were dealing with some health stuff with your implants. I know obviously you've been moving around. What can you speak to in terms of why we haven't seen you for a minute in the ring?
To be fair, I have no idea why they put me in the naughty corner and no one was like giving me fights. I'm between BKFC and Misfit, and it's just constant. Okay, we've got you this month. We've got you this month. So that's like something I really can't answer. Potentially, maybe it's an ex management team not falling through or not really having my back. So things have started to like clear up once I got rid of certain people around me. In hindsight, yeah, I had a lot of health issues that I should have like been addressing and fixing, and I don't think without the way things ever even played out that I would have just kept going because I'm a machine and not thought anything was wrong. But with any sort of loss, like big or small for me, I sit there and I like go over every detail until I can figure it out how to make something more efficient. And that comes down to, uh, well, how I can, what level of energy and output I can do in the gym and in the ring. I still feel it was super controversial that last fight. Definitely some different Thailand rules for BKFC. I've had a meeting with David, so that really kind of got all addressed. Doesn't take an L away from from my record, but it definitely makes you feel a little bit better when the owner is telling you that you won that fight. But I've got to still leave that in the past. It is what it is, and like I said, it definitely sent me on like the longest journey. Really, I invested so much time. I had my coach Mega. I spent 9 months solid with him, and then I wouldn't say that I jumped around. I just knew that it was time for me to move from Thailand. So I went on like a little tour, like just trying to feel the vibe, trying to feel out my little gypsy magnet and see, what my dreams kind of aligned with, which ended up being with Dubai. I really loved TK MMA. When I got back to Thailand after my trip, I went to Ireland, did the PFL, went to England, did the BKFC there. Where else did I go? Yeah, a few places. New
Misfits in
Zealand.
the UK.
Yeah, Misfits in the UK. That was my first show. I love that, which is why I put my hand up to do some boxing for them. Went to New Zealand to get my tattoo refixed on the war side after getting hit by a car last year, getting splattered over the road. So like it was just crazy, like how much stuff, sort of just kept smashing into my life. Still another million reasons why I haven't been able to fight. I'm still thinking it's because everyone's like, "Ooh, what's she gonna do?" Which being the wild one, it's kind of nice, but at the end of the day, like I'm here to play, so I'm glad that they've finally decided to pull me out of the cage, pull me out of the sin bin, and then throw me in one of the biggest BKFC events of history. Alongside Manny Pacquiao. I really think Charisa and I, they've chosen two crazy cats from BKFC. I think both of us represent like the perfect, BKFC girl to show Japan, to showcase in Japan, and then really become what legends are made of. I really believe that, in front of 40 to 50,000 people that we're going to be fighting over there, we're going to be able to make history. Like, what a beautiful thing. Goosebumps. But yeah, to answer your question, I'm just glad they finally decided to give me a go. Like, just let me have a go, and even go. I feel like now I've got all the tools around me. This is the best I've looked, the best I've felt. It's kind of crazy how everything just falls into place when you're not forcing it to, and you just have to like give in to whatever. You have to give into the process. That's all I think anybody ever keeps saying, which is such a frustrating thing for any fighter when you're like waiting for a fight. I wouldn't say it's not like I didn't not execute in my last fight. So for me, I just, you start thinking, oh, maybe I'm really not meant to do this, which is a sucky thing for anybody when, even when I thought that, I was like, I still woke up and wanted to go and train. And I still had this like passion inside me where I am just like, I feel like, I've got more, I don't feel like that's the end. And I don't stop nothing. Like, I ain't stopping nothing. I ain't ever quitting when I'm done. And that's just the way, how I've always lived my life. I wait for the next thing where all of a sudden I'm just passionate for something else. So, and I guess, until that, I'm addicted to the game.
Well, I think that's why we're such good friends. I think we're wired the same way. We haven't seen you, but if I may say so, I feel like you've actually still had a presence. I mean, we've seen some of the Misfits girls decide they want to take their tops off. There have been some other smaller influencer type promotions, and the girls decided, you know what, we want to set them free also. And you know what, let's be real. I don't know that you were the first one to ever do it, but certainly in the era that we are in right now, you are the girl who just went for it. What's it kind of like? Because I think a lot of people would definitely say Tai Emery did it, and now some of the other girls kind of felt like they had that green light that if they're feeling themselves, they'll just take them out and cause a stir also.
Honestly, I think it's the best feeling. I know it's like super insulting to so many religions and just like people in general. But it's honestly like just such a liberating thing. Mate, I KO'd a girl in my first debut. I can't even explain like my life in a nutshell, to be able to just have this energy surge where I just, like I've always said, I owned time. I owned that moment and I just went for it, I think it's such a prideful thing. And even if it, more titties in the world is not a bad thing, okay? Like, they're beautiful, they feed babies.
I agree.
Then, there's just so many good things to them. People love
I could not agree more. I'll give you that one.
Exactly. Like, it's not a bad day, It's not a bad day in the office if some girls are gonna, run wild and show their boobs. So I think I think it's one of the best things I've probably ever done. It's just crazy because I literally was like one of the first female electrical contractors, one of the first female thermographers. I've done all these other things as a woman, like, being the first, and it's still a set of titties, you know, like a set of titties is what gets everyone. So I think for people who are hating on me, like, hey, get out of here, you know, like, just be happy. Like, I think it was liberating. I think it was the best stunt I've ever pulled in my life. Hey, if you don't know, you know now, you know, like, if you don't know, you know.
I mean, personally, when people talk about the OnlyFans of it all or anything like that with the branding or doing it, I don't look. If it's not your thing, it's not your thing. But I certainly think it is actually healthy. If you look good, you work hard to be fit and be confident in your own skin. How you express that is not a bad thing. I think it's about the feeling. If you feel that confident in how you look and in the
Exactly.
moment, I actually think it's a great thing for anybody,
For
male or female.
anyone.
I wouldn't say everyone just like, look, we need to leave some clothes in the on in the ring, please, thank you. But certainly, look, you know what? Yeah, look, you work hard in the gym your whole life. You diet all this. We're only young once, where we're all looking young and hot.
Yeah.
What's wrong with feeling yourself a little bit, you know? And it's immortalized now forever in a million things. I don't need to tell you that, but yeah, I think that's really cool. This event, look, you waited, but they did not put you on a little card. I mean, Manny Pacquiao to RIZIN. Obviously, David Feldman talked about that. It talked about that partnership now with Sakakibara and the team over there in Japan. Just talk to me about your feelings about being part of this card that's going to get a lot of attention when Manny does come back. And I don't want to say his MMA crossover, but let's be real. It's a brand that's associated with MMA,
Yeah.
and it's got one of the top boxers of the 2010s, if not the top boxer of the 2010s.
Like I said, there's like I've been immortalized already, you know, with my own Statue of Liberty of tits. Um, and yeah, I'm just so honored that I feel like this was maybe this is what it was all to align for. Maybe I needed some more growing up, more development. So to be able to showcase, yeah, like we said, this is what legends are made of. Manny Pacquiao, everybody knows Manny Pacquiao. Sorry. Yeah, I think this is what legends are made of. I am so honored. I think this was like the birthday, you know, this was the ribbon with the, you know, like bearing gifts to say, oops, sorry we left, sorry we forgot about you. Like, yeah, you know, like, oops, oopsie, our bad. Like, okay, we'll try and make it better with this huge big fight. So everyone else is kind of really going crazy, and I think because I'm still really learning about all the fight world stuff. Like I think people forget I'm a footy player. I grew up in Australia. You know, obviously I've always liked fighting and I've watched fights, but I never really get into the cult like I never really get into trying to learn like the details of everything like fanatically, if that makes sense. Like I've really enjoyed my time just like experiencing my own life, as naive as that sounds. So maybe to someone else, like even you just mentioning this, I'm like, man, everyone keeps telling me like this is a really big deal, and I'm like, really a really big deal. But I'm, you know, here I am. I'm like, yay, I get to fight. Like, oh no, I don't get to eat dessert. You know, like, um, I think I'm just so self, just like in my own world. But I know that, uh, like, I know I'm gonna get tears because I just get really sentimental about things. But like I said, like I wait until I'm in like that moment, where I'll just be like feeling all of the energy, and I'll really truly understand like in that moment how much of a big deal it's gonna be. But I do believe that this is like something that legends are made of. I know I do understand that it's like a showcase, for bare knuckle over there.